Hello, massive show today. We're going to look at alcohol and your health.
And a blind coffee test.
And we've even got a rap artist on the show.
Why a rapper? Come on, have a look. Yo, yo.
Today, we're fighting the battle of the winter bulge.
This will get you in shape for the summer.
What's the story with coffee? We'll clear up the caffeine confusion.
Caffeine can be good for your brain. Well, it can also make you beautiful.
And Aussie girl next door beauty, Elyse Knowles, shares her secrets for health and happiness.
Stay with us for a show packed with advice, inspiration, motivation and nutrition. We're turning it on just for you.
Be kind to yourself.
Let's all get well, stay well, live well and look fabulous. Right here in the House of Wellness.
Great to have you with us on the hour dedicated to your health and well-being, and I've assembled the entire gang straight off the top. Joe, let's come to you first. What do you got lined up?
Well, we are, of course, heading into the silly season, so I think it's a good time to have a conversation about our drinking, and I don't mean an intervention, Gerald, for either of us.
All of us.
No, but talking about what's safe, what's normal, and can it actually be healthy, ever?
Can't wait for that. And look, you're in your active wear, Bianca. I have a feeling we're going to be burning off some calories pretty soon, right?
We are. We're going to be working out. It's getting into spring and we all put on a little bit too much weight over winter, so we need to get moving.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a look at coffee, the good, the bad, the ugly, and why I drink decaf. Also, they're going to take everything from me.
No.
The alcohol,
no.
My winter kilos, my coffee.
Well, the winter kilos, yes, but look...
Oh, excuse you.
I want to talk today about the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D, what it does, why it's important, because a lot of us have low levels.
All right, plenty to cover. I told you, massive show. Where should we start first, do you think?
Well, you know what? I reckon we kick off with you, Bianca. It's so easy to pull on that winter wrap, this little butt around here. Yeah. You stay in a warm bed instead of exercising. You know, the mashed avo toast gets replaced by mashed potato, snags and gravy. And maybe you have the occasional hot chocolate / wine every single night.
Oh. Well, that might do it for you, putting on those kilos from all those hot chocolates. But the thing is, we also learnt that it's about your body clock as well, and it's about exercising at the right time. And even though we do eat a little bit more because our metabolism increases, we just have to get moving as well.
Okay, ladies, we've all heard that expression, summer bodies are made in winter. So now that spring has sprung, it's time to get busy and start busting out those laps to lose that winter wrap. And to get you in the mood, we've freestyled a rap of our own. Take it away, Sahar.
Ladies, it's time to lose that winter wrap. I'm talking to you. No more excuses. It's like I woke up, it's suddenly September. Haven't felt this lazy, it's the coldest winter I remember. And no ma'am, I haven't hit the gym since last November. Can't remember if I'm still a member, oh no.
For many of us, the winter months are notorious for weight gain. It's easy to pack on a little extra padding once the days get shorter and the temperature drops. But the question is, what's the best way to get ready for summer? Getting up at 6 a.m. to do a boot camp is not my idea of fun. But it can be the perfect way to lose that winter tire that's been growing around your belly the last few months. You know what I'm talking about. This thing. It seems to get bigger and bigger every single day.
Right, here we go, guys. Keep working. High arms. Use those arms.
I'm literally putting my body on the line here to find out why 15% of adult Australians are members of gyms and boot camps. And why do so many people sign up on the first days of spring to undergo this physical torture?
I think people put on weight during winter because it's cold, it's harder to stay motivated, and people stay indoors a lot more and don't get themselves outside.
Frightening statistics reveal that nearly 70% of Australian adults are either sedentary or have low levels of physical activity.
Just want to stay in bed. A lot of hot chips and stuff, so just the greasy food.
So Luke here, our boot camp chief, has made it his job to help those who want to help themselves.
Alternate, left, right, use those arms, try and get the rope right up at the end.
What can you do to try and shift some of that winter bulge that you put on?
I think if you put on a bit of weight over the winter, just get started.
Yeah.
You know, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Expose your body to variety and focus on progression. Don't be focusing on other people's body image, focus more on yourself. Yeah, I'd recommend you get out, get active, whether it's a boot camp, swimming, squash. This will get you in shape for the summer.
Okay.
Make no mistake.
How many, though?
4 left.
Whew. So why do so many of us put on weight over winter and struggle to keep fit compared to the summer months? Professor Ian Hickey is an expert on our body clocks and the physiological issues that are relevant to seasonal weight regulation.
We humans have a body clock, and that body clock changes with the seasons. Sadly, in autumn, you start to carbohydrate crave, you actually put on weight, you slow down over the winter months, you do less, you gain weight. The good news is, come spring, as the body clock changes again, your chances to be more active and lose that weight again increase, if you haven't gone too far during the winter months.
The science is simple. In winter, our bodies require more fuel to stay warm, so that means we eat more. That's where Luke and boot camps like his come into the equation.
Hold it there and control it down. 2 more, big lift.
His morning sessions are designed to continuously improve your fitness by continually exposing you to a variety of exercises like kettlebells, battle ropes, and some very large tyres.
I'm gonna lose my winter rep for sure.
I love the mental clarity exercise gives me, and also the mind-body connection I have and the way it makes me feel.
My winter rep for sure. And it ain't coming back no more.
I feel great. I feel buggered, but I feel great. It's good for you and just makes you ready for the day.
Hit those battle ropes. I want to see you lift those kettlebells. That's right, girl. Roll that tractor tire.
Yeah, I tend to put on weight just from eating a lot of comfort food during the winter. Just living in Sydney, just the beaches and stuff, you want to be ready for summer.
From an exercise point of view, as much as you can do in daylight hours, if you exercise late in the day, particularly after dark, you tend to keep yourself awake and disturb your circadian or body clock system further. So you want to be doing the exercise bit, preferably in the morning, but it's also in the late afternoon while the sun's still there. Also good not to be eating 3 or 4 times a day. One decent meal a day, whether it is in the morning or in the evening, trying to actually regulate your food intake as well.
So the solution I've learnt today, it's not that hard getting up at 6 a.m. and doing a boot camp with like-minded people, but it's quite simple. Good old-fashioned exercise. It's what's going to help you lose the winter tyre.
I tell you what, great story. I loved your rope work in the park there, Bianca.
Impressive.
It was hard work. But the thing is, our metabolism increases in winter, so we naturally eat more food.
Yeah.
But what we have to be all careful of is that we actually increase our exercise too.
Are you saying we should exercise now to get rid of the winter wrap?
Well, I think you and I need to go over there and do some exercise.
Get rid of that winter wrap, Ed.
Well, we meet impossibly handsome personal trainer to the stars, Luke Bardsley. Hello.
Great to meet you, Ed.
And then over here is our resident rapper, Sahar. Can you play us some tunes? Yes.
I see we've got a rapper to get rid of the winter wrap. I got it. All right, Luke, give us some exercise. Let's start shedding some
let's just
kilos.
start with a lunge. Let's just get the heart rate going. We're going to take a big step back with the opposite leg, the left leg.
Yep.
Keep the left heel on the ground, off the ground. And let's go down nice and slow.
Okay.
This time we're going to high knee with that left leg. We're going to kick through and step back.
Balance.
Maintain that balance, down slow. Softly on the knees.
What do you reckon about exercising early in the day versus middle of the day or later?
Well, what I've learned is it's good to exercise in daylight.
Yeah.
So the best thing is that if you do get up in the morning, if it's light, get out there, get a routine happening and just do anything that keeps your body moving.
I'm feeling the wrap's starting to shed. We might need some
I think we need some wrap-spiration over here.
Yeah.
It's like I woke up, it's suddenly September. How'd I get so lazy? It's the coldest winter I remember. And no ma'am, I haven't hit the gym since last November. I can't remember if I'm still a member. Oh no, here we go, summer's around the corner, feel uneasy. I'm so unfit, went for a run, I'm feeling queasy. And I know I used to find this so damn easy, but spring weather's got me sneezy and now you're gonna tease me. Back to you, Bianca.
Nice, Sahar.
Okay, Luke, what else have you got for us?
Perfect, let's get straight into the burpees. We're going to get down and as we jump back, we're going to keep those hips up. One push-up and one torso rotation before we jump up. One. Reach up with the right arm, open that chest.
And how's this targeting our core in this winter wrap?
Well, as long as the hips stay up and as long as the heart's pumping, the heart's burning.
Fantastic.
You know, it's just all about getting active. Just not stopping.
How you feeling?
And not stopping.
Here we go, we're going to jump forward, jump to the sky.
Oh.
Okay, boys, I'm tired. I think it's best we pass it over to Sahar. Can you take us to the break?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my winter wrap for sure. 'Cause summer's round the corner, don't you know? I'm gonna lose my winter wrap for sure. And it ain't coming back no more. Peace, I'm out.
Good job.
Okay, Australia, let's talk alcohol. As a nation, Aussies have always been a hard drinking culture, but according to a 10-year study by Drinkwise Australia, concluded in 2017, our relationship with alcohol is fundamentally changing. In 2007, almost half of all adult Australians drank weekly, but last year that number's dropped to 37%. Most telling of all, 20% of us now abstain from alcohol completely. So we sent Brodie Young out for a little grog talk and to find out what you think.
Do you think drinking has changed too compared to when you were a teenager in your 20s to now?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you're young and exploring, you tend to, I guess you want to experience things, tend to drink more.
And what do you drink?
Vodka, wine, beer.
Do you enjoy a drink?
Absolutely. Doesn't everybody?
I do like a Bundy and Coke.
And how many and when?
How many? Too many and often.
Oh, probably once a month. And probably once a month and a few.
You don't believe him?
No.
Well, alcohol is our big topic for the week, and that's an interesting cross-section of opinions we found, just taking to the streets and asking Aussies about their take on alcohol. And I thought with our panel of experts assembled here across the day, we might start with our resident naturopath, Dr. David Jivan, and get, I guess, what happens to the body first up when we have a glass or three. Maybe it's a Bundy and Coke, maybe it's a red wine. What goes on internally, Doc?
Well, first of all, as health professionals, I don't think we'll ever encourage anybody to drink alcohol for health benefits. Yeah?
Okay.
Considering it's one of the, alcoholic liver disease is one of the major killers worldwide. And it's linked to everything from cardiovascular disease to dementia to, sexual dysfunction in men and women, candida, infertility. And also, it inhibits the absorption of certain vitamins, like vitamin B1, B9, A, C, D, and E, and magnesium.
All right, well, let's go to psychologist Leanne Hall. It inhibits those things, but what about for the mind? Because a lot of people drink as it's kind of part of the culture for us, but it also helps in many ways. Would that be a fair call?
Look, it would be. I think we do live in a drinking culture. We can't deny that. So professionally, I guess, I would definitely agree with you. It's not good to encourage people to drink for health benefits, even for the mind, but it does have some positive effects, particularly if you suffer from a little bit of social anxiety, perhaps. So it's a bit of a lubricant socially, but from a psychological point of view, we would call that avoidance as well. Okay. So it's one way of actually masking and avoiding your anxiety. So although it might have some benefits in the short term, in the long term, it can actually create more social anxiety. So, and it is a depressant, so it can actually exacerbate depression and other psychiatric symptoms as well.
In actual fact, I feel like, and I like you referring to me as an expert, because I'm not qualified here other than how to open a bottle of champagne.
I was going to go with the most enthusiastic member of the cross-section.
But Leanne, when you talk about using perhaps a glass of wine if you are a socially awkward person, I think that's when drinking is dangerous. Because I have seen people and very dear people to me who have found that the drinking gets out of control in those situations because actually it kind of fuels your anxiety sometimes.
It sure does, and it means that you're more avoidant of your anxiety, and even reaching for a glass of wine when you come, and I've been guilty of this, you get home at the end of the day and you're stressed, you've had a big day, I'm just going to have a wine. What is that teaching you? It's actually teaching you to mask and to avoid those feelings rather than actually work through them and sit with them. So we start to kind of seek comfort and we avoid discomfort.
We focus so much on the nasty things, and there's been some work done recently, I think in Adelaide, good place to do research on wine, but saying that middle-aged Australians are less worried about the health adverse effects and more worried about educating themselves better about how and when, how much, and looking at that as part of their lifestyle. And I think we just need to be careful because we show, if we say no too many times, it's ignored.
Drinking is a part of our culture. It's a way, I mean, let's face it, drinking is fun. Like, it's a way of celebrating our world and the events in our lives and our friends and our family, and that's wonderful. But what you need to do is listen to your body and understand when you have overindulged, when it does become a crutch of some kind, and then you know, well, I need to sort of address this. But if you feel like you're totally able to monitor that yourself, then I have no issue.
We know alcohol affects our eyesight and other skills. I don't think it's going to be good for our ears. So how do we listen to our body? What sort of numbers are we talking about where drinking can become a little bit damaging, a bit more damaging?
Well, you know, I look at the figures out there, and they're saying it's acceptable to have 2 glasses of wine every night.
Okay.
In my world, with my patients, I often encourage them to sort of decrease that to probably a glass of wine a couple of times a week.
Yep.
And I think that's where I draw the limit.
How big are the glasses?
A standard glass of wine or a nip of scotch, which I think is 30 mils, right? And I think that's where
we all have goblets up.
That's right. That's right.
So to limit the damage, and we're talking wine here specifically, it has some positive effects. I'll talk about the psychological effects, but there are some positive diagnosed scientific effects from, say, some red wines.
Well, yes, the Mediterranean diet and all the diets will give you all the pros towards it. I'm not going to advise you of those things because, as I said, I don't encourage that in my practice anyway. But I think you know, there are so many other things. You find that the people that are promoting the alcohol will say to you that it contains antioxidants and so on. Look, you'll get more antioxidants getting a piece of fruit.
What is fascinating from pharmacists' perspective, we see a lot of people who do have unfortunate issues with alcohol. But interestingly, it's the people who hardly drink and they go out or go to the races or go to the footy, have 1 or 2 and their body doesn't cope with it well.
In recent years, binge drinking was on the rise, and I think from just that cross-section there, we've seen not so much evidence of that. We're aware of how much we're drinking. Perhaps it's coming down a little bit. The binge drinking effect, and it seems to be more in our younger ones learning the way to go and having the horrendous
Well, do you know what worries me though? What worries me is that we've got the rise of party drugs, and I think it's cheaper, and a lot of young people are experimenting with that, and so that may be a reflection of why we're seeing a decrease in stats for binge drinking, which kind of worries me more, or at least equally. So that's a pessimistic way of looking at it, but the positive way of looking at it is that maybe young people are a little bit more educated. Maybe as parents we're a bit more responsible in educating. My mum didn't talk to me about the effects of alcohol, but I talk about it with my kids, so maybe there is a bit of that as well, which is positive.
Well, and you know that your children watch you drink, and that to me again has been a real alarm bell. If my daughter is aware, Mummy, would you like a glass of wine? She's 9. I'm like, that's not a good role modelling. So, you know, that's great for us to be aware as parents. And again, I think that is new. It's certainly not the way I was raised either. My mum was a teetotaler, so I had no idea.
I just wanted to add another thing, which is very important. When we look at alcohol, this is a bit technical, but it's all very simplified. Alcohol breaks down in your body to a chemical called acetaldehyde, and then a thing called acetate, and carbon dioxide and water gets eliminated. Now, this conversion from alcohol to acetaldehyde is a very important and significant one because it's the acetaldehyde that causes most of the damage, and you get this thing called a flush syndrome, right? And it's very common amongst people that are from Asian backgrounds and Native Americans because they actually lack the enzyme that converts that acetaldehyde into acetate and eliminates it from the body. So they get this flush, they get the, you know, the flushing, the nausea, the vomiting, all the rest of it. And this is a very important point. So there are some cultures that typically cannot handle the alcohol because it's a metabolic issue. And a lot of these people will not realize this, have a glass of wine or have 2 glasses of wine and end up quite intoxicated or affected by it because of this chemical. So, you know, you've got to be mindful of that too. So there's a lot of people out there that don't realise they've got this issue and metabolic issue as well.
Absolutely. There's a genetic issue, there's the social issue and so on. It's a big topic and we're not done with it. We need to explore it a bit more, but thanks you guys. Appreciate that. Stay with us. We'll be back with more on the House of Wellness right after this break.
Later, what our daily cup of coffee is doing to our health.
We know that is actually poisonous. But next, we're making pancakes with a protein punch. We're flipping out in the kitchen next on the House of Wellness.
Today's weekend treat has all the goodness of a school day, with a chocolate-flavoured power pack guaranteed to get you moving. And the recipe is so simple. Mix dates with LSA and oats, then pour in the smoothie mix and combine with peanut butter and add water until all the liquids are absorbed. Melt a teaspoon of coconut oil and gently fry the pancakes until the edges are crispy, then finish with a sprinkle of dark chocolate.
I'm so happy right now. Healthy protein pancakes. We had the BioGlands probiotic breakfast chocolate smoothie mix in there too. If you want to find out more, just search House of Wellness healthy recipes. You can make those yourself.
You know, you never hear those words together, do you?
happy.
Healthy chocolate pancake.
Yummo.
Yum! GQ, what do you think about a healthy chocolate pancake?
You will hear those words here, Zoe. That's what we're all about.
I know. OK, let's get to one of our favourite segments, your calls. We'll go straight to Kathleen from the Gap in Queensland, who's standing by with a question. Go ahead.
We've had a horrible winter with kids getting sick, and my question to you is there any herbal or vitamin type supplements that you'd suggest for keeping little ones away from the doctors?
Yeah, a question echoed by mums and dads across the country. She had some little ones in a stroller there, so how young can we be?
Look, really, a lot of these infections are spread from one to the other and then back again, Ed. So you treat both children with a tonic mixture which contains calcium, magnesium, vitamin D and probiotics. They're the fundamental immune and growth supporters and boosters.
And should you keep them separate when they're sick? To
Well,
stop it, like...
Try that. Try that when you've got
They'll all get it.
Yes.
Okay.
The sicker they are, the more they love.
Oh, okay. Now, the next caller is Hayley from Toronto, New South Wales. Let's hear from you.
I've been really stressed lately and it's making me feel very tired and run down, and I was wondering if there might be any supplements that could help.
Supplements for stress.
So common. And these are the sorts of things, Hayley, you can take every day. B group. Classic. Most of us need B group. The minute you get up, you're under the pump, aren't you?
Yep.
So B group fundamental, and herbs like ginseng, which are the recovery herbs, the energising herbs, and there's some magnificent formulations on the market.
All right, let's go back to the streets of Brisbane where we met Jack. He's standing by with his question for you, Gerald.
How do I solve my lower back pain problems?
Wow, okay.
So common, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's an amazing number of Australians who have lower back problems. So the secret, Jack, is movement. You've got to keep moving under some guidance. So physiotherapy, myotherapy, any of those experts in movement will strengthen the muscles, tendons, ligaments around your lower back, so you prevent the problem from becoming worse and worse and worse and rehabilitate existing problems.
Yeah, and a young guy too, so we're seeing it more and more.
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, there's a number of different modalities that all are slightly different, but you've got to start somewhere.
It's true. Okay, now we have Gemma from Gippsland, Victoria on the line. How can we help?
I'm getting like a lot of pimples on my face. How do I get rid of it?
Pimples, acne on the face.
It's a problem, isn't it?
Yep.
And it's a hormonal thing, Zoe.
That's it.
And girls get very self-conscious about that at school. And look, it's a matter of looking at hygiene, cleansing, moisturising, some zinc, high zinc food, fresh fruit and vegetables.
Oysters?
Zinc supplement. I don't know. I
thought oysters were good for zinc.
For other things.
Okay.
But importantly, it's a matter of taking care of the skin, and that time will pass.
Yes.
So all of those
Patience.
Natural treatments are very important. But zinc, the supplement.
Don't ask the question if you can't handle the answer.
That's very true.
If you'd like your calls coming through to us, 1800 469 788 is the number to reach us here at the House of Wellness. A to Z of vitamins time now, and with these spring days lengthening, a bit more sunshine available, we're reminded we really need to get out for at least a few minutes a day to help our vitamin D supplies restock, I guess, after winter. It helps, am I right, in maintaining and strengthening our bones?
That's one of the things vitamin D does. It's important for many, many, many things. Gene expression, strong bones, growth and development, mental development, joint and muscle development. So we underrate it as something. We think, oh, look, a bit of sunshine will be okay. The sunshine's really important, but so many Australians have low levels that it's worth considering supplementing, which is very important.
So
you're going to
I'm
ask
ready.
any question.
I'm asking so many.
Yeah.
So if you were deficient in vitamin D, first of all, how do you know you're deficient? Will a supplement like this help? And how long would a supplement take to boost?
Lots of questions, Zoe.
Give
so
me
the
three
question number one, you know you're low by having it tested, or if you exhibit any of those symptoms.
Okay.
So if you've got a child who's constantly unwell, or you're an adult and you perhaps don't sleep well, there's a real chance that you will be vitamin D deficient.
Yes.
Question 2, I've forgotten.
Question 2 is, using a supplement like this, would that boost your vitamin D, and how long would it take to make you feel better?
Yes, it does. If your levels are low, it's worth doubling up the dose for a few months. And once the levels have been restored to adequate, then you can continue with a supplement, but just 1 per day. But 2 per day we commonly use. Some people on their doctor's advice might take 3 or 4 per day.
So ask the doctor.
And certainly something to flag if you're a shift worker working long hours, you don't get your little daily dose.
Shift workers especially, Ed, or those who are outside and have smothered in sunscreen, because there's the block as well.
Yeah. We're trying so hard to be covered in 50 plus, but we're not getting enough vitamin D exposure to our skin as well.
All about balance.
Great tips. The A to Z of vitamins, by the way, brought to us by Go Healthy. For healthy energy and vitality, try New Zealand's #1 premium supplements, now available in Australia. Stay with us. Plenty more to come here on the House of Wellness.
And yes, we're right across Australia on the 7 Network and the Prime Network, a show packed with life, nutrition, health and inspiration.
Later, we meet model and TV presenter Elyse Knowles, who shares her health and fitness tips.
And next, we find out why we Aussies just love our coffee. We'll be back here after the break on the House of Wellness.
Welcome back. Earlier in the show, we talked about Australia's fondness for alcohol and the different schools of thought about how much is too much. But there's another popular drug that also provokes heated debate amongst health professionals.
Well, we're talking about caffeine and, more importantly, my favourite way of having it in your morning coffee. James Tobin, you've been looking at the health impacts of our favourite cup of joe. You're not going to tell me to give that up, are you?
Heavens no.
Oh,
no.
you.
That was my biggest concern. I have been told in the past that I drink too much coffee. Right. The good news is I found out doing this story that it's a little bit different than that. In fact, I've actually got a way you can increase your caffeine intake, and it's not the way you necessarily think. With 1 in 4 Aussies admitting they cannot go a day without a coffee, it's safe to say we're a nation of dead-set caffeines. But apparently it was actually the evils of alcohol that gave birth to Australia's coffee culture. When in 1880 a group of Melbourne's Christian women, annoyed with men's drunken shenanigans, managed to get the city's pubs closed at 6 o'clock. Within months, coffee palaces sprung up all over Melbourne and Australia was hooked on something better than grog. Thank you very much. OK, let's face it, a coffee isn't categorised as a health drink, but you got to weigh it up. A good brew is about 98.75% water, and that remaining 1.25% is the stuff that comes from the coffee bean itself. Now, there's also tannins in there, and they can stain your teeth. But another thing inside it is polyphenols, and that's actually been proven to strengthen teeth. But when it comes to coffee's particular appeal, we can't ignore the fact that the active ingredient is caffeine, which is the most commonly consumed psychoactive substance in the world. Speaking plainly, coffee contains a drug that affects our brain. A man who's studied these effects intimately is Professor Merlin Thomas, a physician and scientist researching the burden of diabetes in Australia and author of books on how to live longer and healthier.
The major negative effect, apart from its effect on your wallet, is the effect of caffeine withdrawal, that it's an addictive poison. And for all the good things that is said, we know that is actually poisonous. For example, if you gave a small amount of caffeine to a dog, to a cat, to a bird, they would simply drop dead. The good thing about it for human beings is that we've got tolerance to that poison because we can break that caffeine down into smaller molecules that are less poisonous. So we are very tolerant to coffee. The problem with that tolerance is that we become essentially addicted to coffee.
Yep, you heard him right. When you boil it down, we're addicted to our coffee because of the effect it has on our brain. But is that a bad thing? According to the Harvard School of Public Health, after studying over 50,000 women over 10 years, coffee drinkers had a 20% lower chance of developing depression in later life. In fact, despite it being a known stimulant, doctors typically only warn pregnant women or people with heart disease to avoid caffeine.
There's no real evidence that the standard amounts of coffee that we would drink here in Australia, somewhere between 1 and 3 cups of coffee or tea a day, is in any way bad for our health.
While you're getting your head around the idea that caffeine can be good for your brain, well, it can also make you beautiful. Coffee lights us up from the inside out. However, thanks to the beauty industry's eternal quest for what's next, coffee is now working its wonders on us from the outside in. And Melbourne's Body Freedom Spa have been smearing their clients with this coffee and sea kelp detox scrub for over 15 years.
The treatment in itself is working in a dual way with the actual coffee scrub, because we're relaxing the muscles, then the action on the skin and in the blood system is rejuvenating and refreshing.
The idea here is that coffee stimulates your skin the same way it does your brain. They tell me this is great for exfoliation and circulation. Amazingly, even in 2018, the pros and cons of coffee are still hotly debated. In fact, in California, there's a pending lawsuit which may require coffee shops to warn patrons of the potential cancer risks. But after 10 years of research, the American Medical Association found people who drank coffee had a lower risk of dying of any cause, specifically heart disease and cancer.
A number of studies have looked at the link between caffeine intake and blood pressure, and if anything, those people who regularly take coffee and tea have a lower risks of the outcomes of high blood pressure, which is kidney and heart disease.
Okay, so what have we learned? Well, while there may be more pros than cons with a cup of coffee, you could have something like a glass of water or freshly squeezed juice instead. And you have to think about the whole picture, right? Like, how many spoonfuls of sugar do you put with your coffee? Or how many calories are in that donut or that pastry that goes along with it? I think you've got to weigh it all up, and at the end of the day, you only live once, right?
Great story. I mean, I prefer my latte with a bit of honey. You don't mind smearing it all over
No,
you?
it's great.
Many ways to boost your skills with caffeine, isn't there?
I've spent the morning smearing myself with coffee. You know, I've rarely been happier than when I was told having a couple of coffees a day is actually good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought, why don't we turn it into a coffee party?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. We brought in expert coffee sommelier, Paul Cabezas.
That's right.
And we've got a little contest you've designed for us as well.
And I've helped.
Oh, right.
And Bianca, would you mind
Come on
being
in.
part of this as well, please?
I love my coffee.
Yeah, we've got a little taste test. Novices, professional, how are we going to structure this?
Okay, can you put on your blindfolds, please, everybody?
Okay.
No
Okay.
cheating.
Yeah.
It's going to be a world first. Leading interviews, Ed.
One last look.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's covered up.
Right.
Yep.
All
How are
right,
we gonna
so
do it,
I'm going to place the first coffees. Okay, ready? Hands down on the bench.
Yep.
And then I'm going to feed them into your hands. No,
That
over here.
happens.
Over here, Paul. You're going to have an expert level, just to keep it fair. All right, everyone take a sip.
Take a little sip.
All right, now what do we think that is, everybody?
Well, shall I start?
Ed?
It's just a straight up flat white and it really needs sugar.
Okay.
With sugar.
And what do you think, James?
It's, I think, either international roast or flat. I'm going to say a flat white as well.
Okay.
Bianca?
Or is it a latte?
Full cream latte.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm torn.
And Paul, you had
Can
something
we put
kind
up the points for the first round? And Paul,
something fancy.
you've got
What did you
fancy
sample?
next level coffee.
Yeah, I think I'm drinking a filter coffee. It tastes like it's probably from Burundi.
I'll stop it.
I was going to say the same thing.
I'm getting a really nice kind of like stone fruit or rock melon kind of sweetness in there. So
we're going to lift our game.
Josh, we're going to go second round now.
Okay.
You are also a coffee expert.
Yes, yes.
Let's see how they go with this one.
Real sampling? Okay.
Sample.
Oh, my Godfathers.
Sweet.
I feel like I
Ed, what
just
do you
walked
think?
into Christmas.
This has got hundreds and thousands in it or something. It's very sweet, but
Almost there.
Cinnamony.
Yeah.
Something. So like a chai latte with almond milk or something.
But hang on, it's supposed to be coffee.
Ooh.
Does chai just...
Oh,
it
let's
must
not
be a
get
cinnamon-
technical.
a
Can I
cinnamon-
just? We don't need a conversation. I just need an answer. Please keep it straight.
Cinnamon flat white.
Cinnamon, James. Okay, and Bianca.
I'm going to say a soy chai latte.
Oh.
And what was yours, Ed?
I said a cinnamon hundreds and thousands.
Great. And
Fancy
Paul,
pants? What have you got?
fancy coffee.
Oh,
Give us the
I don't
postcode.
think I've traced.
Yeah. What notes are you picking up? Something woody?
I'm getting
something fruity cherries.
Yeah, I'm getting some cherries in there. It's quite full-bodied. I think it's got a really nice sort of caramel or toffee kind of sweetness to it. If I had to take a stab in the dark, I'd probably say that this coffee is from Colombia.
Okay. Colombia.
Wow, that's
Okay.
so impressive. And Ed, can you just make eye contact? It's so rude.
With
We're
who?
not holding an interview.
What camera am I on? I don't.
All right, let's go. Coffee cups down. Next one's going around. Okay.
I think I've got... Oh.
Are we ready for a sip, team?
Okay, let's
here we
go.
Oh my goodness! What are you serving up? Oh, God. What's the after kick in that thing?
I know what that is.
Chili?
Isn't there? That is turmeric for sure.
It's turmeric, but it's like you've thrown in some jalapenos. That's what I'm going
Oh, wow. Okay. What are we thinking?
Wow.
Ed?
I'm thinking turmeric latte, but with pepper.
Is that your answer, Ed?
I'm going with it. I'm not
Great.
confident.
Okay, James?
It tastes like ginger in the back of your throat, doesn't it?
that's
Like
what
if
it
you have
is.
a juice and
Yeah,
you've
well-
got ginger in it. I'm going to say a ginger-infused...
Well played.
Turmeric latte.
Yeah, well played.
I'm going to go an almond milk turmeric latte.
Whoa, that is some real fancy pants stuff. And let's go to the next level sommelier of coffee, Paul.
Yep. I want to know the name of the guy that grew it and his cousins.
Okay. This one was actually very, very close to the last coffee I drank. I'd probably say that they're both from Colombia. I think that this one's really sort of displaying a much more vibrant sort of green apple acidity. Wow. There's guava in there as well.
Oh, gosh.
And if I had to take a stab in the dark and say the farmer, his probably name would be Hector Zuniga.
Okay.
Is he left-handed?
Probably.
Yeah.
And that's in the Huila region of Colombia.
Wow, well played.
Wow. Okay. Now,
Wheeler good.
let's go I Must Up and let's check our winner.
Okay. Oh gosh, you did nearly wear all that, didn't you?
So we have...
It's a
tie.
It's a tie. Can I find out what was the last one?
Yeah.
Do you know what that one was?
It was a turmeric latte with a shot of soy. Sorry, a shot of honey.
And the middle?
Get the honey.
The middle was
chai latte?
a soy dirty chai.
Dirty chai, and the final one was
Just a flat white.
Just straight up flat white.
Good job, guys.
Well done, guys. Thanks to all our experts and our novices. I think we covered ourselves rather poorly.
And coffee's good for you.
Coffee is great. Let's take a little tea break and come back after the break. Elyse Knowles will join us. Don't go anywhere here on the House of Wellness.
Welcome back. Here at the house, we go on about the benefits of a good diet, healthy lifestyle, exercise, and a great attitude. And our next guest ticks all those boxes.
She's a model, a TV presenter, a Reno Queen, and ambassador for Vital. Welcome, Elyse Knowles.
Hi. Welcome. You are just glowing beauty and health, aren't you?
Oh, why, thank you. So are you girls. Look at you.
Now tell me, how do you, what is a normal day? Because it's crazy, right? You do it all.
Well, there is no normal day, and I think in the modelling world, everyone thinks it's 9 to 5, but it's not. It's all the travelling, it's all the flights, and you never know when you're going to be working. You could be working 2 days a week, or you could be working 7. So it's very freelance, and when you get the work, you got to keep going.
So if you get 70 days in a row, you just keep going, right?
70 days, that might be pushing it a little bit, but
balance, right?
A little bit of a holiday in there, maybe.
Yeah, nice.
Now, you like your exercise and healthy eating, as do I, but when you're travelling, how do you find that balance? I find that really tough when you're on the road.
It is really tough. You got to have the right state of mind first. You need to have a positive mind frame and know that if you try and fit in your exercise in the morning, then you're going to have a good day. And any day is a good day when I start exercising. So I try and work out. If I can't, I walk around.
Get those steps up.
Yeah, get your steps going, get your music in, get good vibes
going. Do you just dance around the house like crazy? Sometimes...
Just stepping away?
Yeah. Woo!
I'm working out. Or, you might be in your hotel room and you'll have your Pilates workout that you could do on the floor.
Do some sit-ups.
Yeah. Whatever
Squat
you can fit in. Do a little bit and you'll feel better in the mind.
And you'll look like that. Right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, great,
Let's get to it.
And Elyse, you have an exciting new role. You are the ambassador for Vital. Can you tell me about this?
Yeah, I'm really excited about my new role with Vital All-in-One. I've been using the products since I was 17 years old.
Really? Right.
And moving forward in my career, I've always been wanting to collaborate with brands that I'm loyal to, that I have a connection with, and Vital I've always had a connection with. So it felt right. And I love it. It gives me energy throughout the day. I take it every morning in water. It's really simple and easy. And I know that I'm getting all the probiotics, prebiotics, vitamins, minerals, greens that I need in my day.
Really important. How does it taste?
It tastes good. It doesn't taste green, everyone.
Yeah, what's
It's
the
got a
flavour?
sweetness to it, doesn't it? Because I've had it before.
Yes, it's not bitter, it's sweet, and I usually have it in a glass of water before breakfast. So I down that and then I have breakfast after it. And yeah, it's me and Josh do it together and we're ready for the day.
And do you know what I love? That you have sachets, so if you're actually travelling, you don't have to take a whole big, container with you. It's
I have a
perfect.
little pack with me when I'm travelling on the plane, and I'll have the sachets in it, so I don't have to take a container. And it's easy. Put it in a drink bottle, in a glass
of water,
wherever you are,
Yeah,
and
perfect.
it's
Okay.
How beautiful.
Get on it, girl.
Now, so much is happening for you. What is next?
What is next? I have a book coming out.
Do you?
Yes.
What is it?
It's called From Me to You. So I've written this book over the last year or so, and it's finally coming out end of October.
And is it a health, wellbeing book?
It's a mix. It's all about positive mind frames, trying to achieve your goals and setting goals, and all the challenges that us girls face in this generation at the moment with social media and just growing up as women.
And I can see all the positive vibes radiating out of you already.
You do glow. So thank you so much for writing something like that and sitting here talking to us. We'll have to get you back on when the book's out.
For
Thank
sure.
you, Elyse.
Thank you.
Now stay with us, everyone. We'll be back after the break here on the House of Wellness.
Welcome back to the show. It was a busy one indeed. We got our little winter puppy fat layer off. Thank you for that. We covered all the alcohol and now this coffee story. The person with the weirdest coffee order is you. May I? Can I have a soy cap decaf, lots of froth and chocolate, and not too hot?
It's not that difficult. Anyway, the reason it is decaf, and I have to say it's fascinating. I was speaking to Josh and Paul, the baristas that were here earlier. They were saying that decaf, the process isn't actually chemical, as some might think.
Oh, okay, right.
It is a Swiss water I think production situation that happens where it draws all the decaf out of the beans, which allows me to have just 10% coffee and not get on it. Do you guys have thoughts on the decaf?
I don't see the point.
Why? Why waste your time?
Because I like the taste. I love the ritual, the smell, but it doesn't love me back. I get so cuckoo on it.
So this is you on 10% caffeine, is it?
Yes!
I like that. I quite enjoy
Just
it.
stick with peppermint tea.
Okay.
It's all about the ritual, though, which you covered, and it's such a nice part of everyone's day.
It is, and here's the additional bit. Forget about whether it's caffeinated or not. It's one of the few times in life these days where you stop and you sit and you have a chat. And in a world where we're a bit disconnected, it's a great thing to do.
I liken it a little bit to the sort of traditional barman's role, you know? You would chat to the barman.
That's it.
In the mornings, you maybe get 1 or 2 coffees a day, have a little chat to your barista. He might not know your name, but he knows what you're ordering.
Well, but how nice is it that you do have that community? I think most of us have a place we go to get our coffees and to be recognised when you walk in.
They know your order.
Oh, it's you again, that girl.
Roll their eyes.
Good chat,
And based on our story, let's have a drink as well.
Yeah. We'll discuss that. Guys, we've got to run, though. If you want more from today, just simply search House of Wellness, and we'll talk about next week's episode, the really big news. Here, our guest on this very studio, the one and only Michael Bublé is coming in.
You are going Bublé cray cray.
Can't wait for that. Thanks again, you and all our team here. Thanks for being with us. And thanks to our friends at Chemist Warehouse as well. Hope you have a healthy and well week.
Bye.